40th anniversary. We're still celebrating. It is kind of a fun time for us. It has been a weird year, and here we are celebrating our 40th anniversary. In some ways, it feels like we have just begun. But 40 years is a long time, and we're grateful to still be together. We've talked about how important it is to have the common foundation, common worldview. We've talked about how important it is to articulate your expectations and to adjust those as needed. Today we're going to talk about common goals. You would not get in a car with someone who wasn't going to the same place you were. But people get into marriages all the time only to be shocked that the other person didn't want to go where you wanted to go. So what are those common goals that unite your vision? What have you said that these are the things that are important, these are the things we're going to do together, and then these are the steps we're going to go? See, without that common goal, then everybody's kind of left to do life on their own, and there's no teamwork, there's no togetherness to make that thing happen. And the problem is, a lot of us make assumptions about goals. Well, I assumed you understood. I assumed you knew. And we know what assumptions do. You would never invest that kind of money, that kind of time, in a project that you didn't know where it was going. You wouldn't do that in any work. You wouldn't do that in any hobby unless you knew where you were going, until you finally say, hey, I want to take this hobby where I'll learn to speak this language. I'll build this model ship in my garage. I'll have this goal in mind. This is where I'm going. And then you take the necessary steps to get there. But you'll find people all the time in marriages, and you'll ask them, well, what are your goals together? And they won't know. He'll have his goals, usually around career. She'll have her goals, sometimes around career, sometimes around family. And then we're surprised when these goals never line up. What are the goals for Team Glenn? What are the goals that Jeannie and I are mutually committed to, that we see each other as being a team to accomplish? What are those goals? Have you taken the time to articulate them? To say, hey, let's agree that this is what we're working on. When you do that, you bring out the best energies of both people. Both people have insights, ideas, energy to pull to this common goal that make the team better. But until you do that, everybody's working on their own. Husbands, do you know your wife's top 3 goals? You'll be amazed at the number of husbands I talk to, and I ask them that question, and they don't know what's important to their wife. Wives, do you know your husband's top 3 goals? What are your top 3 goals as a family? What are your goals financially? Okay, here's where we're going to be in 5 years. Here's where we're going to be in 10 years. Is that debt-free? Pay the house off? There are a lot of different goals. But here's what happens. One of the party will have a goal. We're going to be debt-free in 5 years. The other party won't have that goal and will spend in a different way. That causes a lot of frustration. That causes a lot of anger, all because no one sat down and said, here are the common goals. Here are the common goals. We want our children to have these kinds of opportunities. Well, you can't assume that. You have to articulate that. You have to agree on that so that everybody's bringing their best energy to this moment. Now, I know you're looking at me going, well, gee, that's kind of dumb. Everybody knows that. Yeah, everybody knows it. Few people do it. You should have written down somewhere in your home a set of goals that drives everything your family does. A set of goals that so when you come to a point where you have to make a decision, you pull out the goals and say, here's what we agreed on. Here's where we agreed we were going. How does this decision get us to this goal? And you make that decision together. But until you've decided where you're going together, don't be surprised if you don't get there. Where are you going? What are your goals? And how are both of you committed to those goals? Take about 60 seconds. You'll probably need longer, but I'm going to give you 60 seconds, and I'll see you tomorrow.